This is becoming a very, very popular technique and a very popular bait to fish for lake trout. Now what we're using is called a swim bait. Now swim baits were invented a long, long time ago, but they've been really used a lot in the last couple decades to jig for lake trout. Now spoons and tubes have always been a staple for lake trout. Swim baits are really, really durable, and they have a lot of action, and they actually act like bait fish in the lake, which is why I absolutely love to use them. So what we're using today is the swim bait kit from Bendit Fishing, or benditfish.com. And we're gonna start with the medium size. So the kit comes with 3 different sizes. The kit comes with 3 different sizes. We have 2-inch, 3-inch, and then we have the Mondo 4.75 inch. I have had a lot of subscribers send me like 35, 36, 37, 38. I have not had I think I've had one person send me a 40-inch lake trout on these. And we pair them with the right size jig. So we have 1/4 ounce for the smaller ones, 3/8, and then 1 ounce. And all of this stuff glows. So it's crucial to actually hit this stuff with a glow light before you drop it down. But let me rig up, let me show you the knot that I use and the leader that I use, and I'll show you guys how I fish swim baits for lake trout. So normally, if I'm new to a lake, I will fish with as heavy as jig as I can possibly get away with. So the biggest one in this kit is 1 ounce, all the way down to 1/4 ounce. I know this lake, I know the size of the lake trout in this lake. 1/4 ounce is what I normally use. We're gonna actually try the 3/8 ounce. So this is a 3/8 ounce with a heavy duty mustad hook on it. And this is a 3-inch pearl white glow in the dark swim bait. And I'll pull up a picture of it glowing right now. I can't do it when I'm out right here. But what we want to do for swim baits, so how we want to rig the swim bait. Somebody asked me how to do this the other day, and I couldn't respond without a video. So here it is, right to the back of the J. We kind of want to mark that with our fingers. And then we want to thread that swim bait with the paddle tail down. So I always do it right hand. I'm right-handed. Jigs in my right hand, baits in my left hand. And then I want to rig that as centered as possible. Otherwise, you'll get a lot of line twist. And there we have it. So right now I'm using basically a bass fishing rod, a Shimano Expride, because that's what I got. And I'm using a 12-pound leader Seagar fluorocarbon blue label. And the knot that I use is a polymer knot. So through one time, back through another time, and you guys can look at videos on how to do polymer knot. That's the one I trust. The other one that I trust the most is called a uni knot for tying on thing. And I'll make sure you always wet your knot. It's a little spit. And then trim your tag in the boat, especially since it's fluorocarbon, this stuff never degrades. So there's that. And we want to make sure our knot is nice and tight, and our jig kind of sits right now it's kind of sitting a little low, but this plastic actually floats, so it will sit parallel to the bottom of the lake when we drop it down there. If you have the 1 ounce jig, if you're using that, I bump up to 15 or 20 pound. If you have monster lake trout, do like 25 or 30. They will chomp right through that. It's not the fact that they break the line, is that they bite through the line. They have some teeth on them. All right, so before you even drop down, we want to check our drag. So I fish with this reel, this rod all the time. I know how much drag I should be putting on there. There's a whole calculation for it. We want to have that drag fairly tight, and we also want to trust our knots. So we have a polymer knot and a double uni knot between the braid and the leader. And I'm running a pretty long leader in this lake because it's crystal clear to like, I don't know, 20 feet during the summertime. It's pretty ridiculous. So before we even drop down, check that drag. I want it pretty tight. And right now we're using Livescope Plus. We're in a 50-foot kind of depression in the lake here. And how I fish swim baits is not much different than I fish tubes. When I fish tubes, I actually cast them out a little bit. We're gonna just vertical jig right now today. It's a pretty simple regiment. So I want you guys to look at Sonar right now. There's nothing on there. There's nothing moving around. Oh, now there is. He just morphed out of nowhere. And he's coming over to me. And see how they just morphed absolutely from bottom there? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 Lakers. Kind of ridiculous. This one's hot. Ooh, we missed it. So if you are in a good spot, you know it's a good spot, you're not seeing Lakers, they can be absolutely glued to the bottom, especially if these are smaller Lakers. Biggest one out of here is like 25. Trophy size for our state is 30 inches, so that's like the top end of average. And so there was a lot of Lakers down there. And so I got one coming up to me right now. Just a little bit here, and he went back down. So if I'm getting a lot of chases and not a lot of committals, what I like to do is take them right to bottom. Now some lake trout will eat on the chase, some lake trout will eat just off bottom. So we're gonna ignore that Laker and bring him right to the bottom of the lake. Now this is the hardest thing for me to teach people and clients, is bottom bouncing in the mud. So we're in a bunch of silt right now. We do have a little bit of rocks next to us. We're just tapping bottom here. And usually a lake trout will come and swoop it up. The lake trout that we were just chasing, or chasing us, just disappeared. We got a little bit of sun out. Oh, that one's hot. Ho, ho, ho. He was super hot. So this bait might be a little big for these lake trout. So many Lakers in this lake, it's kind of ridiculous. Right to bottom. See how he just dove for it? Got it. And I want you to set that hook hard. So that's the benefit of having like a medium heavy rod instead of a heavy rod, is that rod can take that really abusive hook set. There we go, first one of the day. First one of the day. They're not giant in this lake, but they are pretty, super pretty. So that Laker kind of messed up my swim bait there, so we want to make sure we correct that. Make sure it hangs natural here. So what we're trying to represent here as a swim bait is a lost fish out in the middle of nowhere, a lost bait fish. In this lake is smelt. Ooh. Got him. In this lake is smelt, and it's loaded with them. And so we're representing a, a 3-inch long smelt or rainbow smelt that's just lost. It's lost its cool. It's just chilling out in the middle of nowhere. These Lakers want to come off bottom and surprise it and eat it. It's their favorite thing to do, folks. There's another one. Super pretty in this lake. So one of the other techniques that we can do is we can actually cast that out there. We're in 50 feet of water. That's going to take a substantial amount of time to go down. And this is probably the hardest thing to do, is actually an actual feel bite. This is a pretty sensitive rod, so it's not as bad. But we're going to watch our braid sink to bottom here. When it sinks to bottom, we're just going to kind of hop it back. Still sinking, still sinking. All right, so I'm finally on bottom. We want our line to be tight. And this is a 100% feel bite. So we're gonna lift and reel. We always wanna make sure that that line is tight. And the heavier jig that you can get down there, the better. If these were, 26, 27-inch Lakers, I'd be using the 1 ounce. And as it gets closer, you can drop it back down again. There's nothing on that cast, but it's a good way to kind of lure fish into your area. Ooh, he didn't want it. He chased. He chased, he chased, he chased. Oh my goodness, they're hot today. Hot, hot, hot. Rarely will they hit it on the way down, but they will hit it on the way down. This one's interested. And you can do these little twitches on the way up. They really like those too. This bait's a little bit big for these lake trout. A lot of the smelt in here are like 3 inches and under, so this is the top side of what they normally see. Not that they won't eat it, because lake trout will eat something about half their body size. I've seen it. I've seen a 40-inch lake trout coughing up a 24-inch, about a 20-inch actually, burbot or cusk. All right, so they're not taking it. Oh, that one's excited. Oh, I pulled them off. So I felt that little like, that little pull. We want to make sure our swim bait's good. And so we always try to not hit bottom with swim baits as much as possible on the first drop. And there's a big reason for that. A lot of bait fish aren't bottom orientated. They don't spend their time on the bottom all the time. So burbot are, they're very bottom orientated, which we do have lakers in this lake so they can eat burbot, but the majority of them are the size that I've been showing you, like in that less than 20-inch range. Just tapping bottom here. And then we're gonna reel it off bottom, see if we got a chaser. We got somebody to come up and look at us. And I like to do all sorts of movements with a swim bait to get them fired up. There's 3 of them down there right now. They're just being picky. And so when we do tap bottom, if we have a fish to engage with us, how we want to tap bottom is like this. So, is like this. Line tight, rod tip, I mean basically touching the water. And we want to do little small taps. If we do really big taps like this, if that fish screams up at me and eats my jig, I can't set the hook up here, right? If I accidentally bring it down, if it was a heavier jig like a 1 ounce and I bonk that fish on the head, he's gone. So we want to do little small taps if we're interacting with the fish. If we want to call fish in, those big snaps are fine. Like that one right there, that one is fired up. So that one just came up at me because I was snap jigging. And we want to make sure your hand is on the reel. The fishes were all over me down there. And another quick tip is to keep your finger on the blank. Sometimes they'll just throttle it right to bottom and it's great. And sometimes they're just picking it up. Sometimes they just like literally scoop it up where you can barely feel it, like your jig will just go sideways. So one of the things we can do with a swim bait to call in fish is to start a fake chase. Literally just race it to the surface. And that thumping noise, that vibration, they can feel in the lateral line and they can feel it from a huge distance away. That fake chase will sometimes just have fish absolutely fired up to destroy it. You found that out when I was like, oh, let me pack up and leave this spot. And I'll pack up and leave and I'll scream it to the surface like I'm going somewhere and a fish will just come out of nowhere and tackle the jig, which is the best thing ever, obviously. Pounding bottom also works to call in fish. Oh, like that. Oh, you look. Had him, and I didn't set the hook because I wasn't prepared there. Pulled down my tail. Sometimes you'll just pick up fish as they, as you're tapping bottom like that. It's pretty effective. I saw that one pin it right to bottom. That was pretty freaking cool. Just a little guy freaking out over here. He's pretty mad though. He just burped, as you can see from Sonar there. Oh, he's pretty fat. Nice little fatty. Nice little fatty. And we want to hold that jig, I don't know, 5 to 10 feet off bottom for the most part. If you're using Livescope, you can hold it a little bit closer to bottom. If you're using 2D, which I have in the back of my boat here, you want to hold it a little bit higher so you have more running room, because that cone angle, it's only 20 degrees. You don't get a lot of seeing time, reaction time to run away from that fish. If you do not run away from that fish, they will make you. These are swim baits. These are not live bait. These are not like creme de la creme, exact match of what they're eating. They're close. It's an imitation. And lake trout are pretty dang smart if they want to be. That's how you fish swim baits, folks. Literally just let it sit, let them come up to it, run away, and let them smoke it. So if you guys want to support the channel, visit benditfish.com. If you want to see more about lake trout videos, either click here or click here, and I'll see you on one of those next videos. Thanks for watching.